going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. I'm glad you dropped in today. I don't have a project today. Sorry. And the reason why I don't have a project is kind of an interesting one. I'm just going to do kind of a little chit chat here for a while this morning, if you don't mind. But the reason I don't have a project lined up today is because it's football playoff season. If anybody out there is an NFL fan, you know when it comes time for football season in the playoffs, especially the playoffs, the weekends are just totally gone, right? Here where we are in Nova Scotia, the late game starts at 9 o'clock. It doesn't get over till midnight, so you got to stay up and watch the whole darn thing, right? So then I don't get to bed till, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And if Green Bay is playing and they happen to win, like tonight when they're playing, they're playing San Francisco tonight, so that game won't be over till after midnight. And if Green Bay wins, well, I won't be able to go right to sleep. I'll be kind of excited. So yeah, anyways, enough to say that because I'm spending so much time watching football, I don't have time to really, edit the videos. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I still get out to the shop every day and I'm working on little things here and there and whatnot. But it takes a lot of time to edit the video, and well, when you're busy watching football, you can't edit at the same time. So, so no project today because of football season. Blame it all on the Green Bay Packers. If they had not even made the playoffs, I'd have been free and clear, right? I've been able to keep going. But hey, they're doing great. I love the Green Bay Packers. So go Pack, go. But anyway, so because I don't have a project, I've got a little bit of a chit chat I want to do. And one of the things I want to talk about, I think this happens to everybody. If it's not happened to you yet, it's probably going to happen. But we all age. We all grow old. Some of us get to grow quite old. Some of us get to grow not quite as old. But each day we're older, right? When you age, no matter what happens, you're forced oftentimes into the healthcare system. Here in Canada, we have what they call free healthcare. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely wonderful. Like you go to the doctor, it doesn't cost you anything. You can break your leg, doesn't cost you anything. You can have a heart transplant operation, doesn't cost you anything. It's wonderful that way. Absolutely. The peace of mind that brings, you just can't put a price on that. So I'm certainly glad that we have free healthcare. But the problems that free healthcare creates are just astronomical. And the poor government, Tommy Douglas was the guy in Canada who pushed for and got healthcare, national healthcare for everyone. But I'm sorry, Tommy, that you'd probably roll over in your grave if you saw the way she's going right now in Canada with the healthcare system. The government has to wake up and realize that they don't know how to run a healthcare system. It's just absolutely in shambles. And the poor people who work in the healthcare, I feel so sorry for them, having to wake up every day and go to work to that zoo and jungle that every day is just, I just don't know how they do it. God bless them all, and I'm certainly glad that they're there to help us. I think anybody who works in the healthcare profession certainly needs a pat in the back, and they certainly need all our support and all our well wishes, because the job they do is it's superhuman to be able to do that. I tip my hat to them. Thank you very much for doing what you do. But anyway, enough about that. What I'm trying to say here is that we all end up needing healthcare at one point or another. And when it's hard to get healthcare, like a lot of people in Nova Scotia at least, don't even have a family doctor. So they have to go to clinics. They have to go to walk-in clinics. They have to go to Google, ask Mr. Google, like, what's wrong with me? What do I need? But there's another way that we can get help for healthcare, especially here in Nova Scotia. We've had several instances where we've needed healthcare, like for what we think is a serious situation where we need attention right now. It's been hard to get, it's not been hard to get the first line care, other than sometimes the wait at the emergency room at the hospital has been lengthy. But it's not hard to get that first initial contact with the healthcare system. But then the follow-up that comes after that, the advice, the monitoring, the guiding, the counseling, that part is really lacks. Now, I think I'm pretty fortunate because we had a pharmacy. I'm going to talk about pharmacies now for a bit. We used to belong to a pharmacy, and I'm not going to mention the name because it doesn't matter. We used to have a pharmacy, and the pharmacists at that pharmacy were terrific. They took interest in us. You know, they looked after us. They knew our history. You know, they looked after us pretty good, I'd say. But as time evolved, the pharmacists in that pharmacy changed, and they were busy. It was a super busy pharmacy. Anyways, a lot of things were going wrong with our account at that pharmacy. Like the interaction was not there. It was long wait time, so on and so forth. So anyway, I decided that, I'm going to have to change pharmacies. So I went to this pharmacy, and the pharmacy is called, I'm going to mention this name because I'm so impressed with it. It's called Pharmacy First. Pharmacy First is a little pharmacy that only started up, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, if that. It's a privately owned. It's in Stellarton, and David McLean is the pharmacist and owner, and the other pharmacist there is Kelly Anderson. And I would like to mention everybody in the shop that's in the pharmacy, but I don't really know all their names, but they're just fantastic. To me, to change pharmacies, it was a big step for me because, like, Janet has some medical issues that we need to have the pharmacy up to speed on to guide us and advise us and counsel us on the medications. Because although we get to see the doctor firsthand, we have a family doctor, we're lucky that way, but like he'll prescribe the medication, but now to get back to see him, maybe it's a week or two before we can get an appointment, right? But we can go to the pharmacy, and the pharmacists will certainly advise and guide and counsel. And so I was kind of, I was apprehensive about changing pharmacies, because now I'm going from this pharmacy that we've been going to for 20 years to a new pharmacy. How are they going to know, what was going on 5 years ago with us? So anyway, I approached the pharmacy one day. I just, out of the blue, I walked in and I said, listen, I'm thinking of changing pharmacies. Is it possible? Can I come here to your pharmacy? Oh, well, of course. They said, sure. New customer. We love that. Come on in. And I said, okay, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get like all my prescriptions for Janet and I. Is it possible to get those transferred from the other drugstore to your drugstore? Yes, that's no problem. They said, we'll call the drugstore and get your files transferred over here. Well, boy, that's pretty easy. And I said, okay, one other thing. I said, I'm concerned about our medical background and our medical histories, and I would like to have an interview with you to discuss our history to bring you up to speed, because that's what I'm after in a pharmacy. Is I want you to know what's going on with us so you can help us, guide us, counsel us about medications, what to take, when to take it, how to take it, things like that. And they said, by all means, that's what we would like to do anyways. So I made an appointment with them, and then Janet and I went in, and you know what? I bet you we spent, well, more than an hour, probably closer to an hour and a half, sat down with Kelly, the pharmacist, and we talked about everything that went on with Janet and everything that went on with me, with our health, with our history, like things that happened to us years ago, to give them a really good perception of what our medical history was like, so that they could understand us as people and patients when we went to their pharmacy. And they were more than willing and happy to do that. They were, almost excited to get to talk to us about that. And, when we were having this interview with Kelly, like, she asked us some really interesting and good questions about our health, and then she was explaining about, with that situation, like, this is kind of how we'd like to look at it and how we'd like to deal with it. And it was just unbelievable, fantastic. And they were so welcoming. That was the other thing about it. From the very first time I walked in the store, and I remember now, I forget who the girl was who came to talk to me, but I walked in and asked them, do you think you'd be interested? Could we come here and use you as our pharmacy? And David McLean, the owner, he was at the back, probably working on filling a prescription or something. And I could see him out of the corner of my eye. He turned around and walked right over to me and started talking to me. Yes, sir. Yep, this is what we're going to do. Yeah, we want you to come back in. We want you to do this. Blah, 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 It was just unbelievable. We were welcomed from within 3 minutes of going in the store. I felt like this was my pharmacy, and I've been coming here for years and years and years. And to this day, now, we only went to this pharmacy last fall. But to this day, I walk in the store now, and the girls behind the counter, they'll look up, oh, hi, Mike, how you doing? What's going on? It's just amazing. It's like a family home pharmacy. Just so welcoming, and so they make you feel so at home, and they're so eager to help you, and they're looking out for what we're using and when we're using it. I asked David one time, I said, David, my head is always filled up. I always have nasal congestion. So he said, okay, he said, I'd like to offer you this one because this other one here, it's not so good, for some of the conditions that you have. Just things like that. Like, they take such an interest, personal interest, and I just feel so comfortable. Like, I feel like if I'm ever going through Stellarton, hey, I just stop in there and say hi, That's just the kind of pharmacy it is. And I'm so glad, so happy that I made the switch. Now, a lot of you viewers out there, certainly, will never be in Stellarton. Like, I don't know how many people that watch my videos are even from Pictou County, but I'm telling you, if you're ever in Pictou County, and if you're ever in Stellarton, and if you're ever in need of any kind of medication, any advice, any medical advice, medication advice, anything like that, go to Pharmacy First, ask them in there, and man, oh man, you'll be just smothered with service and attention. It's just that kind of place, right? I'm so happy that Jan and I made the move to Pharmacy First. So there, that was my chat today. Sorry, no project. Go Packers. Hey, have a great week, and we'll talk to you.